have an open diff. Fantastic. That's good news. Bad news is, it smells like pay way up in here. Hey everyone, this is Shay with 10/10 Motorsports. Thanks for coming back. We are on our, well, this is like our 7th day technically, but 3rd day of actually wrenching on our 350Z drift build. And space is already becoming a premium. So today we're gonna do some pretty easy stuff. We're gonna mount some tires, get rid of some of these wheel boxes at least. Wrap up knowing in my own words, it's a way that our bushing kit. There's a lot of different bushings and Anyway, let's get to work. Everyone else is being noisy. We might as well too. finally getting those wheels out of those boxes. So now that we put those off to the side, we have great access to our counter here. The next big thing we got to do is actually disassemble our brake calipers. That way they can be sent off to powder coating and hopefully be returned by the end of the week. So now this is not completely necessary. Now the only reason why I'm doing this is because the car had a questionable amount of miles. The odometer is like 100 and I don't know, 80, 130, I don't remember what it was. Anyway, it was a lot. But then when we titled the car, it was titled in a weird way where they said the mileage has some type of discrepancy. So who really knows? Could have 300, could have 400,000. Not likely. It is a Nissan again. But so it's more out of a precaution, as well as it's a good time for us to powder coat them as well. So that should go a lot better with our overall livery that we're going to be putting together a little bit later. So yeah, so you guys are going to learn how to rebuild calipers. Hopefully the proper way, right? All right, let's get started. So this hat, besides being one of the ugliest hats I think I've ever seen, was a second or third place, I don't really remember. It's some trophy winning hat that I got from a champ tour, and yeah, 2017. But I mean, this is a broader problem at CCA. You guys need to have, I mean, some people travel halfway across the country to compete in these things. And I know that there's not a whole lot of money and we're just doing this for fun, but Jesus Christ. I mean, what's next? A box with nothing in it? Anyway, sorry for that rant. So I'm gonna shove this bill right here. So when I put pressure on the backside of this banjo bolt, this piston will come in here and land directly where it should. Again, we don't need a whole lot of pressure. And eye protection and ear protection, probably a good thing. Oh, I forgot, damn it. I was just cleaning it out. Take two. I was just cleaning that out, I swear. It's a good idea to have that bleeder fitting I was talking about in here before you give everyone cancer by atomizing brake fluid. Yeah, pro tip, don't do that. Take two. Oh, she coming. Oh, she coming. It's almost there, guys. It's almost there. And there it goes. Bam. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, and here is our piston. Fancy. Okay. We'll also want to remove this boot and this ring. All right, there we go. We got our boot. We got a retaining ring for our boot. Best $3 I spent at Harbor Freight in my life. Okay, now we have, all right, a fully, oh, hold on, I lied. Now we have a fully disassembled rear caliper. Banjo and kazooie bolt. Trying to make the biggest mess possible. That ain't working. But Captain, we're doing all we can. My shop teacher, who I still remember to this day, really at the time, you know, I think all kids, right? And don't get angry at me, high schoolers, you're a kid. All right, that's plain and simple. I know you think that you know everything, but you only know about half of what you're not gonna know when you get my age. No, just kidding. So at that time, he was like an ornery old man, but in a funny way. Think of like George Carlin when he was in his prime, like that. So he used to say this thing all the time. Man, Shay, I teach everything I know, and you still don't know anything. So I hope I'm doing you proud, Mr. Sherrard. I remember your name. Anyway, if you're out there, Mr. Sherrard, I do appreciate all the things you taught me. And I'm sorry for leaving that big pile of steel in the shop for like 6 years. Hopefully you guys repurposed it and used it for something else. Don't show anyone those welds. It wasn't gonna go. But a couple more ugga-duggas and she just let go, baby. She just let it go. All right, this time I won't forget to leave our bleeder valve in before we give this thing the good old SCCA brick champ here. Oh yeah, that one tasted good. And there she goes. These ones came out a little easier because they probably hadn't been sitting in a junkyard for 6 months. Snarf! Eat! This smells like Duralast brake fluid. I bet I can find a WRX owner that would put this stuff in their vape. Check, check. Go time. And this is the one that was given us, yeah, this is a little older, so it may fight us a little bit. So, as one of my favorite YouTubers would say, contact. And there we go. You know what time it is. You guys really should be wearing eye protection when doing this stuff. Mostly because there's a lot of pieces that could fling out, but if you've ever had brake fluid in your eyes before, oh man. I don't know what's worse, brake fluid or gasoline, but they're both probably some of the worst things you can get in your eyes. So, don't be like me. And I'm sorry, Mr. Sherrard, but I still haven't learned, obviously. This is exactly how an 8mm was designed to be used. Now, these guys are a little bit easier. Just a series of boots, some pad guide plates that new brake pads and rebuild kits should come with. So saving these isn't the most important thing, but nonetheless, you might as well do it. Oh, and one thing, I don't believe that brake kit, that dual rear brake kit from GK Tech comes with a second set of caliper bolts. So make sure you grab them off whatever junkyard car you're pulling them off of. Now on to the biggins. The biggins. Why? Oh, that's right. Oh, that's right. This weird anti-knockback garbage. Now, this is really interesting because I've never seen this before. So, what I think this is, on our guide pin here, has a fancy little spring. Now, I believe the purpose of that spring is to lift the leading edge of the caliper off the brake pad. Sorry, leading edge of the brake pad off the rotor. But, I don't know. So if you guys know, put it in the comments. School me. Wishful thinking. Oh my God, there's a lot of fluid in there. Not bad. Save that for a little bit later. Let this bad boy continue to drain out. We'll use our special SCCA tool for that. That's kind of unnecessary. Boom! Just see that one. She's smoking. Now, this may or may not be a good idea, but It's light. Well, let me just get this straight. It's a bad idea. All right, so what I'm going to attempt to do is use this big socket here, just like that, to keep this piston from moving any further out and allowing this one to shoot out. Ooh. And she worked. Come on out of there. Don't be afraid. No need to be scared. There we go. And out came our other piston. Ooh. Okay, so same story. We're going to insert our piston just a slight amount. Block this piston from exiting any further with this socket. Put our SCCA tool in place. All right, there we go. There we go. And contact. And there she is, boys and girls. Hopefully, good as new. All right, guys, that wasn't so bad. Now we just got to load these up, take them to the powder coaters, and it's officially their problem now. Okay, we're back. Now, just got back from our powder coaters, and hopefully we'll have those brake calipers back in our hands by the end of the week, even though now realizing that it's only Wednesday, I asked for Thursday, so no wonder they were looking a little weird at me, or asking for them to perform an act of God. Anyway, we need those calipers back for a couple of reasons, not just because I want to complete the project, but we're already a couple of days behind, and I made an appointment for the third time, sorry Josh, that I don't want to cancel. And the reason for that is that it's a wrap. We're going to be wrapping the back half of the car, mostly to kind of, well, it'll look cool. At least I hope it'll look cool. And I got bored. I mean, I thought it would look that. I wanted a livery on this car. I wanted it to be a real race car. Anyway, long story short, the GK Tech second brake kit comes with a spacer that I believe is going to go between the knuckle and the hub of the rear control arm assembly. Now, that's normally not a big deal, but I couldn't find reliable data to show you how thick that piece was. And I ordered these wheels in this offset without having that piece in my hand and really not knowing even how to install them. So it was a shot in the dark. So what I hope to do, tie this thing full back circle, is that my buddy Josh is coming this Saturday to wrap the back of this car. And if I don't have the offset correct on these wheels, I'll have to use a fender roller and pull the Jesus out of that thing, and someone's here. So hopefully these are my control arms. All right. That wasn't my delivery guy. Drag strip. All day, every day. Anyway, so back to the story with Josh. He's going to be here Saturday, and I'd hate to cancel again on him. So my game plan this whole time was to get all of the rear suspension sorted out, get the rear brake caliper secondary kit added to it, and mount my wheels and tires, put it on the ground, and see if I need to roll or stretch those fenders. And I would like to do that before Josh comes and wraps the car. So kind of crunch time. It's Wednesday. That gives me basically 2 days to get this done before Josh shows up. But the difficult part is going to be pressing in all of these polyurethane bushings, which, as you could probably tell so far, I'm not looking forward to. But not presses, what do we go? Press cups, press adapters. Basically these little pieces that will interface with my solid steel press and the bushing and allow for me to actually press the factory bushings out and the new polyurethane ones in. So, and oftentimes when you have those press kits, rarely do you have the right size. So I'll be making my own. What we'll do is we'll have to jump on the computer, design some, send them down to our local fab shop and have them made. That way we can press these bad boys in without breaking any fingers. All of that needs to be done in the next couple of days. So why am I wasting my time? Anyway, in the meantime, let's tear this bad boy open and see if we got a whole nother issue to deal with. Okay, so already drained all the fluid out of this bad boy. So we're gonna start by taking off these bolts for our diff cover and hopefully not make too much of a mess. I can say, why do you need air tools? You shouldn't need air tools. And the truth is, you don't really need air tools. But boy, does it make things easy. And a lot of these electric impacts are getting just as good, and you're gonna worry about maintaining an air compressor or worry about a stupid hose and all that goodness. So you don't really need it, but this is pretty awesome. Now so far, all of these bolts appear to be the same length, so no special orientation needs to be recognized. Time to get out my big bang bang. All right, here we go. And let's see what this looks like. Hey. And we have an open diff. Fantastic. That's good news. Bad news is, it smells like payway up in here. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and take off these guys and get a look at these bearings and see how they look. Because I was really hoping not to have to rebuild a diff, but it seems like this thing's got a lot of backlash, I feel. But I've been wrong many times. In fact, when I get home tonight and I talk to my wife, I'll probably be wrong again. So might as well take these guys apart, take a look at it, and we'll see where that puts us. Now, whenever you're taking these guys apart, it is important to keep these specific. Not necessarily the bolts, but these clamps if they come off the left side or come off the right side, you want to make sure they go back on the right or the left side. In fact, they did not make it easy for us. All right, dot equals right side. Ugh, smells freaking terrible. Come on, thank you much. So I thought this was pretty cool. This guy allows oil to travel across this surface evenly while the diff is rotating. Really cool way to oil this shaft. Very interesting. Looks like some new diff seals would be in order. Now, removing this bad boy without pinching your fingers is kind of a magical thing. We're getting there. We're getting there. Almost there. Okay, so there she goes, finally. All right, now, again, whatever comes off the right side of this diff needs to go back in the right side of this diff. You don't want to get any of the shims or even the bearings flipped, okay? So when they come out, quickly identify at least one set, put them somewhere else. Anything else that falls otherwise, make sure you assume that they are from the left side. All right, so we got one shim, an outer race on our bearing here, and on our left side we don't have any shim. Oh, we got one shim as well, and our outer race. Let me go dump this bad boy real quick. God, she gross. She real gross. So the front pinion feels really good. These guys don't actually seem too bad. They don't look bad. So they're actually good. In order to weld this without getting any slag anywhere, I'm going to take off the ring gear off of the differential. That way when we get it cleaned up, we can just go ahead and lay some serious heavy heat without worrying about any slag landing on any of our teeth of our ring gear and potentially damaging our differential. So let's get that off. All right, so these guys are putting on about 4 Ugga Duggas. So yeah. Ring gear is in pretty good shape. I'm going to go ahead and pull these seals out of here, at least the sides, and we're going to take this diff and this differential over to the parts cleaner and have them cleaned up real well.